Come on, fudge old girl, this won't do. Can't sit around, I've got a video to make. Hi guys, thank you for dropping by. I think it's fair to say that plenty of poor decisions are being made on the back of poor information, ignorance. And that's the reason I think that everyone should learn to read, and everyone should read as much as possible. Now, I know in the modern age of technology like this, the mobile phones and computers generally, the notion of reading is kind of frowned on. We use the internet all the time, we use the communications all the time, but a lot of people still don't bother to research, still don't bother to learn things for the sake of learning, and that's a shame. So politics has loomed large lately, and with an eye to what happened with the UK elections and indeed the US elections more recently, it's clear that a lot of people make decisions without knowing the full facts. Because if we knew the full facts, I think we could have expected different outcomes. Maybe not completely different outcomes, but different outcomes numbers-wise. I'll just move on. So, it got me thinking about war and the wars we're in at the moment and how wars can escalate. And so I thought, let's do a book review on a book that was around when I was a kid at secondary school, and it was studied by certainly people in my year. There were three tiers when it came to English literature. I studied books at my school. The higher tier, which studied the more advanced books, the harder reading, and there was the middle tier, and then there was the lower tier. And in every case, we all studied the same sort of books, i.e. books which deliver a certain message, because one of the points of English literature is not just to enjoy books, but to get you to analyse a text, to get as much as you can from it. Because if you can do that, then you can analyse what people are telling you, and you'll be better able to make good decisions across your life. That's the way I see it. It doesn't matter whether it's a clinical textbook, or whether it's some pamphlet that someone shoved through the door for an election, or indeed a book. So you have to learn to read around the subject and get educated. I'm sure I'm preaching to the choir with a lot of my viewers, but this is what I'm reviewing. So this was for the lower tier, but it's not easy reading. It is readable, very quickly readable for most people. It's a 15-20 minute read at best for most. It doesn't use any complicated language, but it focuses on what happens to an elderly couple who live in the countryside, not far from a city, but far enough, and it's what happens to them when the nuclear apocalypse happens. And it's the good old story of America versus the USSR, the Russians, and so on, when war escalates to the point when there's no return. And as you might have guessed, with nuclear war, it doesn't end well. It doesn't end well, and it covers the preparations, trying to preparing a little siege room within their house, and preparing food and trying to survive, and then mistakes are made, and it doesn't end well. It's not easy reading, but it's good to read these things because we shouldn't romanticize nuclear war or war at all. We should remember that if it happens, we're all on this one piece of dirt, all alone in the night, and it will be bad for all of us. The more bombs you drop on our Earth, wherever you drop them, the more radiation, the more radioactive material is in the atmosphere circulating round to kill us all eventually. So people need to remember that, and they're dealing with the fallout from a close by, from bombs dropping close by. So, it doesn't end well. Highly recommended, and if you've got kids, it might be worth getting a copy. I found mine on eBay, because it's worth giving them the opportunity to read this sort of thing, so we don't make the same mistakes in the future. We clearly have politicians in play that aren't capable. On so many levels, they aren't capable of digging us out of war. In fact, they start wars. This is why we've got the situation we're in right now, you know. So on the lead up to the US election, I saw a lot of propaganda delivered through the social media, of course. Lots of so-called religious leaders saying, oh yes, you should vote for Trump because he's a Christian. Is he? Is he? I seem to recall that Adolf Hitler was a Christian. Yeah. Adolf Hitler was an atrocious individual, wasn't he? There's no sugarcoating that one. There's no sugarcoating that murderous. And I think you've got to be very careful of anyone who's presented to you as the one to vote for because they're a Christian. Being a Christian or believing in the devil versus God doesn't make you a good person. It should. You'd think, well, maybe it should, but no, it doesn't. Having certain beliefs or telling people you have certain beliefs doesn't automatically make you good. Too many people will tell you, oh, I'm good for that loan. I'm a Christian. I'll pay it back. I have solid beliefs, a solid set of morals. So we'll judge you by your actions, thank you very much. And the same can be said of any politician that tries to wrap themselves in the flag and tell you they're a Christian or because they're religious you should vote for them. Them telling you they have integrity is not proof, is it? It's not proof. It's just a pack of lies half the time. Yeah. Now I look at body language, I look at actions, and when I look at the last time Donald Trump was in, I think the record speaks for itself. He promised a lot and didn't deliver a great deal, and no matter which side of the political spectrum you're on, whether it's a Democrat or whether it's a Republican, he promised a lot and didn't deliver what he promised. So that alone should have told the electorate where to vote. Sure, you want a Republican, but do you want that Republican? I couldn't believe he got the nomination, frankly. Surely there are plenty of other decent Republicans out there, people you can trust, people who deliver what they promise. Not people who go out to the golf course and doss around. If you tried to do that in a job or any other job, you wouldn't last very long, would you? But we'll see how it pans out again. I imagine he'll spend lots of time on the golf course and lots of time blaming other people and very little time doing anything else. Now, some folk have said to me, well, it's concerning because, of course, he has access to, the bomb thing. He can authorise a nuclear strike, and that is one concern, hence the book today. But the other concern is what he's also got access to. It's what he signs off on or not, as the case may be. I'm thinking FEMA. Now, in the States, if you're in the UK, the States have their own disaster recovery team, which it's, the armed forces, FEMA. If disaster strikes like a hurricane or tornadoes, and it does, and it will, then FEMA is there to try and organise a coordinated response to get things back to normal for the folk affected, to get trade working again. And it's a good system to have in place. But as I understand it, one of the problems with the system is that a lot of things have to be signed off by the president. And now normally this wouldn't be an issue. You see hurricane hitting a city, you make sure they're back online as quick as possible. You sign it off. Any other president would. Every other president has. But President Trump took his sweet time. Last time he was in, a hurricane hit Puerto Rico, and it took ages for him to actually respond, to bother doing anything. Oh, they're all right. And unfortunately, Puerto Rico gets rather a bad rap. It gets the poor end, the poor cousins. That's how it seems to be. It's great when everyone wants to go on holiday, but then when it comes to disaster relief and getting an infrastructure in place, one that works, it seems to be very low on the priorities list for certainly the likes of Donald Trump. It's concerning. It's concerning because we know during the 4 years he's going to be in, or however long he lives, there are going to be disasters. And if it's like last time, he won't be signing off on help anytime soon, and people will die. Businesses will go under, and he doesn't care. He's happy to file for Chapter 11 himself. He does not care. He thinks everyone should do that. Everyone should just give up. Oh, business is a struggle. Just go under, go bankrupt, run away from your debts. Not an ideal person to put in charge. And yes, we've got a lot to look forward to, haven't we? And well, I've ranted enough. But back to the book, though, well worth buying, like I say. If you get the chance, do have a read. And if you think of any good books that you'd like me to read, pop them in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Whatever you do, have a great day. See you soon, and bye for now.